Leicester lose at King Power Stadium for just the third time. They'll be back here, of course, in 3 days' time when Leicester take on Derby. Full time here inside King Power Stadium. Leicester City 1, Watford 2.
Thank you, John. We'll stick with Matt Elliott, who's been on co-commentary duty. Matt, how tough a result is that to take for you, do you think?
You heard there at the end the reaction from the supporters. It's very difficult. I mean, unfortunately for the players, the referee judged it so that they got to get booed twice, which is never nice. It's never nice, is it, from anyone's point of view? But yeah, it's been a topsy-turvy season, hasn't it? And like I said there in the commentary, without being too damning and too critical, it is making me start to wonder that with today's performance there, that perhaps Leicester are not, it sounds a bit harsh, but like underachieving. I thought the capability is there. We've seen that in glimpses as recently as Ipswich. Probably the best performance in terms of completeness of the season. And then that's followed by one of the worst against QPR. And then today they just came up short when it was needed, really, didn't they? I mean, you can't get away from the fact that it was disappointing that goalkeeper Selvik was not stretched at all, pretty much. That's at home on a Boxing Day fixture when you're trying to, as the boys were saying before the game, show a reaction. It wasn't really there, and it's slightly worrying to say the least. Listen, there's another opportunity, but that's going to be made in 3 days' time. That's going to be made even more difficult by today's result and performance, because the crowd are not going to be as behind the team as much as they would be ordinarily. They will be supportive, of course, local rivalry, etc., and just the fact that it's a league game, competitive game. But yeah, just looked disjointed, a little bit disheartened today, and a little bit short of ideas. There's not too much positivity, I'm afraid, Dan, is there, with a result like that? That's compounded by Watford having a poor away record, and they come here and take the 3 points. So it's quite an adverse situation right now, but some real mettle and character and resolve needs to be shown very much sooner rather than later, doesn't it?
With me, Dan Bates, in the Foxes Hub studio. Obviously, we've watched that game alongside Matt, haven't we? And it is disappointing losing any game of football, Jerry. Obviously, as we know, Leicester's Boxing Day record wasn't great, and sadly that has continued today.
Yeah, I mean, hugely frustrating. The fans have shown and given their reaction. Matt has mentioned basically 2 mistakes have cost them the game. Watford, fair play to Watford, they came with a game plan. First goal, you could say, was slightly part of the game plan. Second goal, could have been dealt with slightly better. Well, both goals could have been dealt with slightly better, but unfortunately, Leicester just couldn't find a way to do that. And, credit to Watford for, taking full advantage. I think Matt sort of mentioned that they ran out of ideas. They had a couple of decent chances in the first half to go further in front. Didn't quite take them, but they still looked comfortable for that first 44 minutes or whatever it was. And then it just sort of unravelled a little bit in that second half.
Yeah, disappointing. We thought we would have seen a reaction in the second half after conceding a stupid goal right on half time. But again, I think Watford just come out and did the same thing, didn't they?
Yeah.
We tried to play, but as Jerry said there, just running out of ideas. Didn't really know what we were doing much when we had the ball, but we had a few chances in the first half where we should have capitalised and maybe got a few more goals before they did. But second half, Watford just stuck to their game plan. They waited for us to give the ball away. They hit us on the counter-attack, getting crosses into the box, and obviously that's where the second goal came from to win it. And then from that point, Watford were in dreamland, because every time we give the ball away, it was they had so many chances. They need to counter and hit us and score more goals. So again, disappointing performance by a lot of the players, but you know, it just shows the lack of quality that we've got in the squad at the minute. But it's good it's not been good enough.
Yeah, is it quality? Is it confidence? Is it a mixture of the both? I think, you know, when you go back to a couple of weeks ago against Ipswich, someone would have said it was quality, but
Yeah, it's more confidence. Like
I
you
would
said, that was
say
a quality
confidence.
performance, that against Ipswich. So there is the quality.
There is a quality. Yeah,
it's just we just haven't seen it today.
Yeah, and I think
And listen, every team can have an off day.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, normally when the two wide players are playing well, Leicester invariably play well, and we didn't see that. And you know, everyone, like you say, has off days. But I think, you know, the performance and the result last week, you know,
It's kind of knocked the stuff out of them a bit, hasn't it?
yeah, has that knocked the stuff? That should have been a result that galvanised you, and it looked like today the QPR result was still weighing heavy on their minds.
And that is frustrating, Nuge, because before that they'd actually gone on a nice little run, hadn't they?
Yeah.
I think it was 4 unbeaten going into QPR, and
Yeah, well, you look at the results against Derby away, a point at Bristol, winning Ipswich at home. You think it's kick on, but then obviously the QPR result comes along, which you didn't expect. And this one again, you know, another horrible defeat at home. No, it's frustrating because the lads have got it in them. You know, we've seen it in performances where you think, you know, good performance, like carry it on now, a bit of momentum, that confidence growing in the team. But it just seems like one little mistake at the minute, like the whole team just heads go down and we don't know where to go from there. But as you said, we've seen it in previous games that we're good enough. We just need to get that back and, you know, start performing better.
Granted, there aren't many positives today, Matt. I understand that, but to try and concentrate on that positive that Nuge has been saying, that there is the quality in the group. How do they then turn it round? And I guess the beauty is today's Friday, the next game is Monday, isn't it? So that is a short turnaround for that game with Derby. So hopefully, you know, things can be put right, if you like, and in what would it be, 72 hours, we'll be speaking about a different story.
Yeah, hopefully so. Yeah, I say a week can be a long time in football. So can 48, 72 hours. So yeah, there's always that hope, isn't there? And hopefully that motivation as well. I've said as much as anyone this season that sometimes, I don't know, people might look at me as if I'm a bit foolish or whatever, but I think Leicester, you know, have the capability, have the personnel within the building, within the squad, to be, even if not the best, one of the best teams in this division. And I've seen evidence of that, albeit too sparingly. The consistency hasn't been there, but you know, I suppose you could say that of numerous teams. But Leicester, for me, when they got the strongest team out, which give or take one or two, was the fact today, was the case today, certainly within the squad. You know, the wide players that Jerry's mentioned there, when they're on song, they're a match for anyone. Jordan James, we've seen even today, you know, in not one of his best games, he's got so much ability, all-round potential. Aaron Ramsey in there, could ever read, he's got experience. Ayew as well has been around the block, etc., etc. So Leicester certainly have the capability. It's getting that group togetherness and focus of mind and I don't know, hunger maybe to perform at your utmost, like all the time, not in fits and starts, not just rely on the technical capabilities that you have. Football is much more than that. You know, it's a collective, robust effort, and you know, it's a test of character as well, as is going to be the game on the 29th against Derby. I suppose you look at that, one of the blessings is that hopefully the players will naturally be fired up for that. You like to think that they won't go into it timidly. You know, not so long ago they were comfortable winners against the rivals that are going to be here in 3 days' time. You know, convincing winners, and rightly so. So they've got that confidence to go into the belief to take into that, despite the setback today and last week. But you have to have resilience. Listen, these boys wouldn't be where they are if they didn't have an element of resilience about them individually. So you take knocks all the time in football, but you come back and you enjoy the successes that you get. So they've got to be And you've got to rally around the troops a little bit, support each other, but also remind each other it's not a walk in the park all the time. They'll know that by now, but they've got to stand up and be counted. Don't rely on others to do it. Stand up yourself, and then in unison you can perhaps make a difference, and hopefully we'll see that big difference in a few days' time.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Gerald.
Yes. Matt, if you were to
Thankfully I can't see you, but I can hear you.
If you were to pinpoint one issue that you would work on then to try and fix from what you've seen over the last 2 games, what would it be?
That's a good question, but a very tough question, isn't it, to pinpoint one thing. Unfortunately, I wish it was that easy. You look at it and...
Well, if you were to pick one issue that you would say stands out.
Well, not today, necessarily. I thought... But previously, I thought it's been a problem with Leicester in terms of defensive focus when in possession. The amount of times that teams turn it over possession and bang, they're at us and we're scrambling defensively. You could say that happened to a degree today, actually, in the latter stages. But I think they perhaps pay the price for that a little bit. Ricardo going into midfield, and then it leaves them open a bit, and they're a bit out of shape defensively. So it's weighing up the pros and cons. I perhaps go for a more orthodox sort of method in that, and just get the fullbacks supporting up and down their own flank on either side, and leaving the midfielders to sort the midfield out and balancing that off. I think that's one. Another little issue I think maybe is relying too much on the wide players, like just giving them the ball and saying get on with it a little bit, and opposition teams working this out a bit, doubling up, working ever so hard, nullifying the wide players, and then in doing so they nullify 50% of Leicester's threat. I think that's an issue as well, but I suppose they're technical, tactical issues, I suppose, a little bit, and that's for the manager to apply or not, however he sees fit.
Well, it probably sums up football really, Nuge, and how difficult it is, I guess, to be a football manager. Because even at half-time, you guys were saying, let's get it to the wide players a little bit more. Matt's there saying they did too much of that. So I don't know. That football's a very strange sport, isn't it? And
that's where a lot of our positive stuff comes from.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think.
Go on. No, I'm just thinking ahead of that Derby game, that how good Leicester were against them a matter of weeks ago.
First half, especially.
Surely that's. I know Matt briefly mentioned it there. Surely that's something that we can, cling on to heading into Monday. That we know that there was that fantastic result, and they can have. There won't be much confidence. Granted, I get that following what's happened today, but they beat this team only a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. We know we got their number down at Pride Park a couple of weeks back. A great first half performance. We'll be hoping to do that again come Monday, but obviously Derby going to look at that situation as well, where they'll probably come with a totally different game plan because their last one against us never worked. So I still think it'll be a tough game, but again, home advantage. Local derby-ish. It's only down the road. I think we can go into that game knowing that we beat them with a bit more confidence that we did in, against QPR or today against Watford. But it'll be intriguing. I think the manager's got a big job on his hands now, trying to get the boys rallied for the local derby. A couple of days training, get them at it again, and get them all fired up for the game Monday.
Yeah, big.
And especially when you're going into it and losing back-to-back games. And I think they managed to pull off a draw with 10 men today, Derby, away from home. Was it away from home? Yeah, Birmingham. Yeah. So there'll be some confidence taken from that game for them. So yeah, I mean the manager's got a big job on his hands now, trying to roll over into Monday night's game and get them, hopefully off for this game.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of the festive period, Nuge, as we're saying. It is literally so quickly. Get a positive result against Derby. Suddenly it's only 3 days again until, or 4 days again until Sheffield United.
Yeah, so the games do come thick and fast in the Championship or Football League in the Christmas period. It's a great chance to move up and down the table. Obviously, for us, we need to go up. So these next 2 games in 6 days, it's massive for the football club because we don't want to linger too far behind the playoffs. I'm not sure how the other team's gone today. If we're still only 4 points or 5 points now, is it 6 points? We don't want to be adrift too much. So these 2 games coming close up now, there's a chance for us to get close to the playoffs.
Yep, the first of those games, as Nuge rightly said, is on Monday evening. It's a game that is available, as ever, with us here on Fox's Hub. That's a 7:45 kickoff on Monday, rather. No one knows what day of the week it is today at this time of year.
Friday, mate.
So yes, Monday the 29th. It is a 7:45 kickoff. That means we'll be live from 7:15. There are international half-season passes available to get your game passes for £90, as well as the Listen Live monthly passes, which are also available to you. Thank you to Matt for his job on co-commentary today. Thank you to Jerry and to Nuge. It's been a disappointing result, but we still continue to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Have a nice rest of your Boxing Day with your family, and we'll see you all again after the weekend on Monday. Goodbye.